Hey, everybody out there. Thank you for tuning in again. It's been a while since I've posted. Been really busy planning out for the spring. Of course, you get the warm weather and you got to go with it, right? Nature calls. And we all know what happens when nature calls. Got to answer. Um, a lot of people have been asking about music. I will continue to post new music. Um, Roommate's really been getting into metal, letting me hear some of his old metal, and so I kind of been taking that in, and I think the next stuff that I put out is kind of going to be based on that, just because what's been rambling through my head, and I'll see what I've got. But back on the agriculture, a lot of you that have been paying attention and watching some of the videos know that agriculture, hydroponics, botany in general has been a big part of my life for probably as long as you've known me, if you really know me. Always been into bonsai, but bring you up to date on Ewing Family Farms, a small urban farm here in Prineville, Oregon. Of course, Prineville is a rural community, so doing an urban farm in a rural community is actually a perfect setup because I'm not only able to see the rural community, the urban aspect of that rural community, but I'm also tied into several different aspects of agriculture, meat production, grain production on the small scale gardens to large scale agriculture. Some of you might remember some of the pictures I was taking and some of the info that I got while talking with farmers that do large scale ag. This is what brings me to the next point. A lot of people that I worked with, both in the Idaho area and throughout the Pacific Northwest, and a lot of my friends in the agriculture and small agriculture communities have really taken up, I guess, a fight against big business and big ag. That being, the primary one would be Monsanto, of course. So, in working through that and hearing both sides, what I propose is if you're on the Monsanto train, whether it's Monsanto bad or Monsanto good, I've got a couple friends who work there, great people. I think they make great products. Really, they've done a lot to further what we are able to do here on this earth and also maybe mess a few things up, um, and are still messing things up. I really haven't been able to delve too much into both sides. I see the legitimacy of the argument. Um, so, my proposal on the Monsanto issue is if you are pro or anti Monsanto, please go ahead and get a hold of me and let me know what we can do to bridge that gap. If you're with Monsanto, send somebody over to our project from your R&D team. Come on, we've got a great group of people here ready to go, ready to provide their skills for your benefit and service. And what we've already been doing here, both with Project Eva and the Ewing Family Farms, is developing seed, which is something that Monsanto does and could benefit from with the way that we've used our open source seed. Yeah, go ahead and send some R&D people over. It might be a great opportunity for some good publicity and get those guys that are anti-Monsanto. They've got some great points, guys. I mean, we're looking at what's coming up and turning up in the creeks here. It's not great, and a lot of these products are washing out. And Monsanto has done a great job putting out products. I think a lot of what it is being misused by the general public. That happens quite a bit. And a lack of education that goes along with how profound some of Monsanto's products are. Um, on that note, they might be able to do a little better on getting hands on education in the products that are off the shelf products or, maybe require a little bit of training and certification before you give those products out to the general public. I know that sounds ridiculous, but we do the same for a lot of products that are way less harmful and toxic to our environment. Just a food for thought. But back to the needs. So a lot of people have been asking me what I need for this family farm and Project Eva in general. It's a stressful situation to be in because I'm trying to maintain the integrity of the project and the end result for my son and his future generations, and make sure that what we come out with isn't going to ruin the world, and hopefully make it a better place. On that note, a lot of what the needs are pretty simple, and we've been doing this off of a non-cash basis, and that's just simply to avoid being leveraged into putting other people's products or opinions unfairly into circulation or promotion from this project, just because they can provide a need that's been leveraged rather than an actual need. And we're trying to deal with real life situations. COVID-19 going on right now, obviously a lot going there. So it's been interesting to see how on a micro scale, different things that can be developed are useful but not available. Things like toilet paper, back in the day, sitting through all this, it makes it look ridiculous because you can simply, wipe your bottom and wash that. And as long as you're sanitary and smart about it, been doing it for a long time, getting away with it for a long time. Nowadays, it's probably not the healthiest option, but it is always an option, and it can be done sanitarily. So there are a lot of things like that in developing small scale products, this being a really ultra small scale right now, only me. But I will get to a thank you and actually say not only me, but several others, and of course the Almighty. And I will get to all of you and thank you here in a moment. But okay, back again to the question of needs. What do we need around this place? Well, a lot of you might have seen some of the early developments with, more or less that system. This system has been broken down several times in the development of the project, and I think we have a final product that is really great for in the home. If you want to get a hold of me, more information on that, go ahead and message me or give me a call at the phone number that should be listed somewhere down there. I don't know where it's at, but there's a phone number. And if you can't reach that, just get a hold of me online, Facebook, all over the place, really. If you want to get a hold of me, it's easy to do. So, back to, again, our needs. I really have a hard time telling people what I need or what we need here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to list off some of the things that I've written down that we need. Fish tanks. If you guys have any fish tanks out there that you want to send our way, we will take them. I will take them. I've been messing around with plastic containers, and they work great. They are easily toolable and recyclable, cleanable, reusable. Problem is, when they break pretty easily, and they break and then I have to get a new one, and it's just, they don't really have a long lifespan, which for this setup makes it difficult when you have to go through and reset up different parts of your system. So that's first need. Fish tanks, bowls, fish fry. I have lots of friends at Fish and Game. I'm looking at you, Fish and Game guys. Give me some fish fry. I want some native fish from here in the Pacific Northwest. Right now, I'm messing with a few that I've been able to pull from the stream. They are crawdads. They haven't done too well. I'm not the greatest crawdad caregiver. I've learned that since then, and it's because of my environment that I'm putting them in. And so I've learned how to do that. So when I get the new tanks, we'll get those going. But I do need native fish fry. I can go ahead and grab them out of the stream, but that's just going to be probably trout, rainbow, and I know how to deal with them. I know how to fit them in the system with a good flow rate and keep their temperatures down, keep them happy in the system. But let's also check out some of the other native fish. Fish and game, I'm really looking at you because I know I got a lot of friends in fish and game that can do that and make that happen. The other thing is terrarium fogger. I want to get moved on to the aeroponics. When I started getting into this, the aeroponics were part of something that I'd done quite a bit before and have had good success with. And one of the key components there is terrarium fogger. Being on a no cash basis, I've been able to accrue a terrarium fogger through my own creativity. Or if you have an idea or a project that you can send me on how to create a good fogger using solar and simple tools or utilities that are widely available, go ahead and build that out and send me one. I don't have the time to build any of these projects. If you have interest in doing a project as a community project, go ahead and get a hold of me. I would love to do a lot of these different projects on a calendar basis and get a lot of you involved here in the community and outside of the community and let you see how this develops. This is really a step-by-step incremental development and documentation where I've been documenting everything that I've been going through and getting this up to par and running and hopefully not spinning a wheel. Hopefully actually making some progress, both personal progress for myself, my community, the project, and everybody involved. The whole world, really. This is a great thing to get out there and, you know, if somebody can set up one of these in the middle of the desert and grow a whole community from it, if we can develop something where we've basically got a community in a box where we can help people homestead or, you know, reinvigorate communities with just a box and a package. You know, forget dropping rice. Let's drop these things and a bag of rice. Then we can show people how to not only grow rice, eat rice. You know, it's funny because I got lentils as food, and rather than eat them, what did I do? I grew them, and my food tenfolded. For those of you that are familiar with the practice of seed theory and you know, the tenfold, it's true. There's a lot of truth to that, and it's just simply taking something and turning it lemon into lemonade. I know I'm ranting a little bit, but it's kind of cool to show people, you know, you can take food and multiply it and make more food. So far, I've donated in the last 2 weeks over 12 pounds to local food banks. And that started out as just a handful of seed. And for that to be 12 pounds of food getting out and ready to eat and consume for people that need that food, that's a huge part of this project. That was one of the major steps that really made me cry and really made me realize that there's a reason I am doing this. And that's exactly why. For those of you that remember Bopen, this is a lot of the same stuff, just retooled, not under a non-profit. It's just, you know, it is, we can contribute what we contribute with or without labels. That's been a big part of my job to keep this whole thing pure, and I guess in essence. So back again to the needs list: terrarium fogger, seeds. I can always use more seeds. I can plan it out. I know it looks like I've got a small space, but it's an urban farm and I'm not limited by the space that I have. If you have space that you would like me to plant on or would like to contribute to the project here in Crook County, that is accessible, let me know. We'll get it planted out. We'll do whatever we can to make this urban farm thing really kick off and get some food in the community where it's being missed. Get some new foods in our grocery stores that are locally produced, and get some people working in this new economy, whatever it's going to be after this little retool. Get some people hired. That's another thing. I can always use the help, whether you're volunteering or now that I've got the Sprouts going. If you want to be my sales manager, we have to have an income. We're in the United States, and I know it's possible to operate outside of the Fed dollar system, but I guess that's really political, and I don't want to be political with this. I just want to be direct and get a solution for a lot of these problems that I've heard friends and family voice and concern. I've seen in the food banks that people need food, good, healthy food. That's why I'm on this, guys. And family foundations, family foundations, food, shelter, housing. If you can't provide your own food, shelter, housing, that might be problematic. And if we have to rely on other people, it may not be there in the future. It's we need to be able to be independent. We need to teach our children to fish, swim, and build, and not just hand them the fish like we've been doing for the last 50 years. And that's hard to say and do. So back to the need: seeds. Bulk seed. I have a lot of small package seed. Of course, Ferry Morse does a small package seed. They're a big seed company. I need more agricultural amounts of seed. I've done my own seed breeding throughout the last 2 years, and I've had a few varieties of food. Obviously, corn was easy to recapture. Peas were easy to recapture. A lot of the beans, lentils, legumes were easy to recapture. But I need more variety. If you can give me variety of bulk seed, send it to me. Send it to us. We'll get it used. Cold hardy varieties. If you are a seed producer, plant producer, send us your cold hardy varieties. Tell us all about them. I will plug them. Yes, I will sponsor you as a producer if you throw us plant material. And that is simply because plant material is plant material. It doesn't matter where it comes from. If it's good, it's viable, and it's not gonna blow up the world, heck yeah, we'd like more of it. GMO people, if you've got a genetically modified food, that's kind of in line with our project. We're just really seeing what we can do with this. Send it to us. I'll see what we can do to use it. If it fits into the project, let me know. And if it's something that has a real tangible upside and I can't find any downsides, and the community here can't find any downsides, let's go with it. Let's find cold hardy varieties and let's get them so we can get food growing in our communities that our communities eat. And the amazing thing with GMOs is I've seen products like oranges that grow here in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, I know it's mind-blowing and it's going to change a lot of dynamics in the economy, but in all reality, in the long run, I think it's a good thing. That's just my personal opinion. So beyond seeds, fruit trees, vines, anything that you can provide like that, especially native. If you live in the Crook County, Deschutes, Central Oregon area, and you have a native food producing plant that I am not aware of, go ahead and send it to me. I know everybody out on the tribe, on the reservation, you guys have a lot of stuff that that I know is personal and valued. I've taken a lot of my time working with all my friends out in Bannock County and the Shoshone-Bannock tribe, and trying to take in their knowledge and share my knowledge as well. And really love the people out there. Everybody at Fort Hall, hi. Hey everybody, how what up? Yeah, I would like to get your information and knowledge and input on the native aspect, and you guys probably have some of the best insight on our native foods. Here in the Northwest, my favorite has become the gooseberry. I found it while living in Oregon, and that's kind of become my pet plant for producing viable agricultural and production ready foods from that. Visqueen rolls, can always use Visqueen. It has a great application both in summertime and wintertime. No idea what the natural equivalent to this would be, because it is clear, it insulates, it lets light through. Plastic is pretty amazing, guys. You know, we might not want to give up plastic as a whole. We might just want to find new ways to recapture and reuse it and recycle it. We were given a pretty good opportunity with that one, and you know, I look at myself too when I fail to recycle. But come on, plastic is actually a pretty great commodity, and we need to learn how to use it better. On that note, I could also use a 3D printer. I think 3D printing is an amazing thing and has a lot of use in our future. On that note, I think it allows a bigger level of plastic recycling, and it fits right into a sustainable future. 3D printing, I don't want to make any guesses or anything like that, but I would say it's got quite a bit of viability in all of our futures. If you aren't familiar with 3D printers, I would suggest you check them out and see what they can do. I know a lot of people that are using them right now, and they're somewhat limited, but the more people that start using them, the more the idea gets around, the quicker these changes are going to happen. And it's amazing when you can print out, you know, a drink cup and then not throw it away, or print out a bowl, cereal bowl, and not throw it away. You know, and you can do that from the convenience of your own home. COVID-19, you know, situations like this would be a great thing to have, because when you are on lockdown and you need to get a product, 3D printing is a pretty awesome solution. So again, with my rant, I'm running on 23 minutes. Thank you for sticking with me to hear these needs. Cleaning supplies. We have made small batches of alcohol that have been able to kill bacteria, and have been fairly successful in that. But before we move on and get the approval for ethanol production as a fuel for our vehicles, and also as a cleaning product, I've also been using vinegar, which helps. And I've had more than enough apples from the tree and the neighbor's tree, actually, that I've been able to produce a lot of that and have that covered. But for right now, the time being, in the bridge to our end goal, cleaning products, and looking at COVID-19 and how many times I've, ended up with something because I'm working in the no cash zone. So that would be nice to have some cleaning products. Also, clamshells. These are the little hamburger clear things. Let me show you where I use those. I use those a lot. These little guys right here. Now, I've had to utilize these as a packaging product for the interim to get these out and meet the requirements of consumers. I would like to find something that we can produce in-house and naturally, like a fiber mat or a cocoa fiber mat that I've considered using a lot of the sunflower stalks in production for that. If I could grow coconut trees out here, trust me, I'd be growing coconuts and I'd have my own cocoa coir. But until then, those clamshells come in really handy, getting our clean, fresh produce out. And fiber mats, I just mentioned the cocoa mats. You can always use cocoa mats for propagation. Right now I'm using no medium. It's great. I love it. I'm going to stick with it as long as I can. And with the addition of a terrarium fogger, going aeroponic will really open up a lot of things for root crop production. And that's going to be huge. So looking ahead, I am going to need any plant substrate. Sand works great, but it tends to collect a lot of salts really quickly and has to be washed quite frequently with chemicals. And what do we not like doing? Using chemicals. We like pH balanced water, clean mineral water. That being said, water filter. If you know anybody that has a good water filter, or you work for a company or are with a company, we could use a water filter just to generally filter our water. It is quite chlorinated and has quite a bit of salts in it, so they build up really quickly in our soils here. And I've been addressing that with citrus and acids, adjusting the pH just with citrus crops, and acids and vinegars from apple and everything that's been derived from that, and apricot and some of those fruits, treed fruits. Tools, hand tools, power tools. Any of you that know about this project know that I have a lot of tools. They are not necessarily my tools. I have my tools mixed in with donated tools. I've gone ahead and separated those out again. And the donated tools are available for community use. A lot of the neighbors have been taking advantage of that. And I have had a few tools come up missing. If you're going to use some of the tools or the bicycles out front, that's great. Please try and follow the camp guidelines by bringing it back in the same shape or better than when you borrowed it, and I will try to do the same. Let's see, rooting hormone, gibberellins. Yes, rooting hormone. I have not found the chemical process to make that yet. I haven't had the time. If you're interested in providing that information, or with a company that can provide an R&D specialist on how that can be naturally made, that's great. I've noticed that the gibberellins and the rooting hormones, whether it's perceived or real, I'd have to go back on the data and really take a look at it. But without looking at the data and just going off of recollection, I'd say I do have a higher success rate using the gibberellins and the rooting hormone while propagating from cutting. Let's see, next thing, a still. Yes, I know several of you out there that are old school distillers. I'm looking at you, Chuckles. Yes, if you have a still, or you know how to make a still, or you can get me a still or us a still here on the farm and on the Project Eva, is a great asset. I have made a couple hokey stills, and you know, the DIY stills, although they work and can work in emergency situations, be nice to see the different things that are available out there. I know a simple copper tubing and wire is easy to, well, not easy to make, but relatively easy to make and forge using some of the materials I have here on site. But if I'm not forced to, let's go ahead and see if we can get a still. That way we can get our fuel productions, natural fuel productions, and be closer to sustainability. That'll be a big leap for us, both having a natural fuel source and a natural cleaning supply source. I'm not looking for a still to drink. Uh, that is its own thing, and we can talk about that later. I do make wines from some of the different products I have here, and that's just simply because it's a way to process and keep those foods, and it has been for ages. And it makes a lot of sense. It is slightly alcoholic, so it's sterile, and there's a reason people made wine centuries ago and still are. And so beyond the still, entertainment. Let's see. If you have videos and stuff like that to keep our minds occupied, or not necessarily distracted, but you know, every once in a while at the end of a 15, 16, 17, 8-hour day and a 7-day week, it gets to a point where, yeah, it could be a little nice to watch a Disney video or something like that. Just take your mind off of the way things are at the moment, and cool and retool. You know, things get frustrating, and we deal with all sorts of problems and have all sorts of celebration. If you are a performer, you know I'm a performer and a sucker for music. So if you ever want to come over and play music and entertain the household, um, whether it's just me and roommate, or me and several house guests and willing local workers on the farm, yeah, we'd all love to be entertained, in-house or even, you know, outside if you want. And I do have a extra bed housing. If any of you want to come check this out, that's something I'd like to let you know, is if you're willing to contribute, I've got a bed for you, got a place for you to stay. If you just want to come and check things out, we've got a place you can stay. General operating costs are around $20 to $30. And if you do become a guest, keep that in mind. Just cover your general costs. And, you know, you can either get a hold of me, or there is a listing on Airbnb. Although the Airbnb thing is, if you do that, I want to make you breakfast. And you might not like it, but yeah, I'll make you breakfast. And it's really more or less a way to have a contractual obligation, that you will cover the costs of your being here. And as long as we can recoup that cost, you're more than welcome. And even difficult people. That's one thing I'd like to thank, is all the people who have come and visited and contributed to the project from around the world. Thank you for coming and staying. Not only sharing your personality and who you are as an individual, but sharing your knowledge and input, and changing my opinions on certain things about the world, people, and our project here at home and how it's going to impact the rest of the world. That being said, come and stay. You're more than welcome. If you want to help, let me know. I'll get you a discounted rate, free if you need. There is a place to stay. Either contribute or cover your costs. Let's move on. All right. So we've got entertainment projector lock sets and security cams. Oddly enough, there have been a few security incidences here where people have taken the liberty to come in and just generally fuddle with a lot of different stuff that they shouldn't be fuddling with, which has caused a few major setbacks. So if we can get somebody donating a few security lock sets, I've gone ahead and educated myself on some practices that I can take and that the general household can take. And especially right now, security not being a concern because of the virus. But you never know. We do have some cameras around. Two of them have been broken. And I guess damaged by somebody or something. But cameras always help too. I know they're cheap enough. If you've got a couple laying around, I'll go ahead and plug them in. And it might also be cool to have some live feed and give you guys some idea of what's going on the show. Maybe we can do a live feed of what's happening here on the Funny Farm. Wouldn't that be funny? Yeah, I don't know if you guys would really want to see what happens on the Funny Farm. You might get really, really bored. And then maybe laugh your butt off once or twice. Really dragging along 37 minutes. Again, thank you guys so much for staying along and listening and hearing all of our needs here on the farm. Next thing on the list, lock set, security cams, security being a big thing. IT security. If you're out there in IT security, that's something we could use help with. I used to be an IT guy. I'm not with it anymore. I've been out of that for long enough that I realize I am behind a little bit in that, and we do operate on the internet. It's a basic form of communication other than person to person, and relying on the internet has not been good. It's taught me that personal communication and interaction is huge. Maintain that in the community. That being said, back to entertainment real quick. I know projectors have gone down quite a bit, and one thing that's not really sustainable is a lot of people have given us TVs for entertainment. Well, that's great. I've got these great big TVs, and all they do is pretty much sit here and take up space. It's really cool. They work really nice. We appreciate them. But in the end result, I think the projector is the simplest. I can make my own projector and set it up pretty simple. If you want to go ahead and make us a projector and have your name on it and contribute that, I will go ahead and plug you as long as it's a personal one. If you're a business with a projector, show me how your projector is made naturally or can be made using easy tools. And you know what? There aren't a lot of people who have a lot of time to make stuff. So if I'm plugging that and you make it simple enough and easy enough for me to convey that it can be made with simple tools in the scope of the project, then let's go with that. Let's make it work. Let's build relationships rather than lock each other out. Back to wireless communication. So obviously you're seeing me on this video on this phone. Probably not going to be able to come up with a video camera and phone on the fly from dirt and fire, but I'm sure we can dig some out of the scrap heap, and that's going to be one of the key development processes in figuring out how to make those sustainable. They are being produced at a huge rate. If you want to go ahead and you are a company and donate some video cameras and projectors, things like that, again, show us how that bridges the gap, or how we can bridge the gap by creating that project or product within this project using natural resources. As simple as can be. It might not even be possible, but see how that is valued, and how we can maintain that value, how we can preserve that value, and keep a sustainable future in mind. So then we move on to phone service and internet. It's been really difficult being on a no cash basis. Obviously I've been paying those with my own money, as an individual should. But being in the scope of this project is kind of counterproductive. But that being said, if you want to go ahead and contribute anything to a phone service or internet service, I will plug your company just because they are a core need, just to get the information out, other than paper and pencil. Paper and pencil works great, but it is not big enough or widely available enough for the scope, and I just cannot at this moment produce enough biomass to produce enough paper to really get that out there yet. And that is a place where this project might be and might go. But let's hold off on that, and let's just see if we can get somebody to sponsor us with those services. And let's see. Also, if you've got an individual in your communications company, no matter what communications company, that has a passion for sustainability, send them over. Get them involved in this project. Let's start looking at solutions to these issues. I know the simple phone line in the wall, that's one that's been there for quite a while. I think it was pretty sustainable when they tucked it in. Maybe we need to be looking at how we're using those phone lines and those simple data structures that are already in place, using renewable resources such as power poles. Yes, it is a renewable resource and can be grown and reharvested. And copper wire, yes, it can be mined sustainably and turned into smelted and brought and forged into wire in different shapes sustainably. We've been doing it for ages, since before what they call the Bronze Age. So yes, it's definitely a sustainable thing, and that might be the way to go. But let me know what you can do to contribute in this aspect. Potable water tank and pump. For the mobile aspect, we've got a trailer that we sometimes use, and also need a secondary source of clean water. Have an Aristocrat trailer with a built-in water tank that we use primarily for one side to water the yard with a pre-mixed solution, and also use that for our housing when we do have guests come and check out the farm. Let's see, I don't have the exact specs, but if you're a company or an individual that has a potable water tank that you think might work, go ahead and let me know. I will shoot you back some info, and we'll see if we can get a good water tank for that setup and a water pump. Right now it's working off of an air pump, which is great, sustainable, and works very well. I might even just keep that set up where we have a very small voltage air pump that feeds the pressure that drives the water in that. Let's see what else. Solar panels and inverters. Now I know solar panels in the reality of things are not that sustainable, in that there's a ton of oil calories that get used in the buildup and manufacture of solar panels. But for this bridge, as a society and as a project, they do hold quite a bit of weight, and we'd like to get in on that. As just being cash only, a lot of people don't really want to trade anything for their solar panels. But if you have anything you want to trade or contribute, or you have something that we can do for you, or you're a company that makes those solar panels and you want to show us how they are actually in fact very sustainable and may not have as large of an oil footprint as I once thought. But go ahead and send us your info, and I'll see if we can get that plugged in. Solar panels, big thing. Could use them quite a bit. We use all low voltage for the airing, and like to get a lot of the other stuff converted over to low voltage, like lighting. Those have had some big changes in impact since we started this project, and I hope that some of what I put out there as far as this project has really spawned some of the new developments in technologies and ag, and really got you guys to think about what is and isn't sustainable in the whole scope of where we're headed. Inverters. I'm an old school tech guy. I love messing around with electronics, resistors, capacitors, transformers. I've been shocked so many times. It's kind of funny, but not funny. Yeah. But inverters. If you've got a good inverter, or you've got a company that makes a good inverter that is multi-use, send it to us. I've been through several inverters designed for RV, truck, trailer, house, auto use, and you know what? A lot of them are garbage. Yeah, a lot of them are garbage. The caps will overflow, charge, discharge. Just a lot of junk out there. Or I even answered a Craigslist post where a guy sold me a $300 inverter, and I didn't really have the money to spend, but it was going to be really productive in our system. And the dang thing just was already dead and fried, and lo and behold, the guy disappeared. So I've learned my lesson with Craigslist. What is it? Always confirm. I should have definitely tested that inverter before I left. But that being said, I've been through several. Problem I have is burnouts and capacity draw. Just simply cooking with electricity. It's a lot easier to cook with fire, guys, but if we can get an inverter that turns some of our air, wind, and different generation sources into a power outlet ready, that'd be great. I got lots of different battery and power put methods that can really generate some good power. So then, past the inverters, I want you to help. If you're with a company or you're with an individual that's passionate about sustainability or agriculture, I want your help. That note, most recently, I'd want to thank Arlie and Kelly Michael. Oh, let's see. Indirectly, the DeBoots here in Prineville have helped me through some stuff that my parents have relayed. So I'd like to thank you guys. I'd also like to thank Woody and Selena. Justin, thank you for some of your agricultural knowledge. I know that you're getting a really good breakout on those tomatoes. You've been a great brother and showing me some of your key knowledge and letting me share some of my knowledge on how these crops can be brought up sustainably. Um, so there's a few thank yous that I can get in there real quick. But yeah, jump in and educate. If you want to jump into a project, don't be afraid to knock on the door. Don't be afraid to come over. Don't be afraid to ask if you can put a shovel in the dirt somewhere. Um, if you want to get involved and you want some of the seed that we're going to produce, help out. I can give you some of the seed. I can give you end crop. I can give you whatever we got going on. We can work something out. But yeah, let's get you involved. Your involvement in not only this family farm project, EVA, and systems development happening here, but the more involvement I've had, the funner it's been, and the more diverse product and scope of the project has become. So that's probably the biggest thing I can ask for is your help. If you want to help and contribute, jump in. I'm more than happy to take on the help. And sometimes I might be in a bad mood or I might be in a great mood, but it's all people, and that's how we learn to interact with each other and help each other. That's probably the biggest takeaway I've gotten out of this project, is it's all about people and how we sustain each other and ourselves. 3D printer, yes, I love 3D printers. I'll say this again and again and again and again and again and again. It's a great way to reutilize plastic. It's a great way to have on-demand product. It's a great way to reduce our fuel consumption out there. And that's only bad for the gas guys, and even the gas guys have a way to make something out of that. And they're on the other end, making petroleum products, petroleum plastics. I know a lot of the guys in the hemp industry are starting to make plastics. We've got renewable plastics, so it's not just an oil product. Plastic is a natural product as well. Queen Bee and Bee Box. I've gone and rescued a bee colony. It did not take here. They all took off. And I've got a partial bee box built. I haven't had the full time to develop that. And I've got a guy, Michael Ludeman, out in Terrebonne, who is a great apiary official. And I'd like to tap some of his knowledge source. Unfortunately, holding down the fort here, I haven't had time to go out and do that. I've only been able to make it out there a couple times. But if you're interested in beekeeping and in Central Oregon, I would definitely recommend getting a hold of Michael Ludeman. He's out in Redmond, I believe, or Terrebonne. And if you have any bees or bee product, or you're with a company that would like a big shout out or sponsor a small project, we'd love to check out and review your bee colony, how it fits into our project, how we can make it work in this community. I do have neighbors to both sides. I don't want to throw out a big bee box, and I don't blame them. And so let's come up with a solution for that. If you've got a great solution for me to keep bees in my house, keep my neighbors happy, and be sustainable at the same time, show me. let's see what we've got. Send it here. We'll put it to the test, and we'll let people see how it comes out, not just in your eyes, but in test in the field. Unbiased. Solar hot water and or heating equipment. Yes, I built a couple of these solar hot water tanks, and it's been a focus I haven't been able to maintain beyond just growing things. It would reduce our household expenses and energy consumption greatly. After a couple of DIY boxes, they last a little while, do pretty great. If you have a company that has plans and develops and or makes these solar hot water boxes and are interested in showing people how they can work in their sustainable agriculture, urban farm, in the home, in the apartment, solar hot water is by far the most amazing renewable energy resource we can have. And if I could have a solar hot water heater here on this project, both for people to see and touch and feel, to educate some of the public about how efficient these are and how useful they are, I will get that information out to the general public. Just put it in my hands and let's get it operational and let's get it showing. Let's see. So that's solar hot water, tank and equipment, 3D printer. Last thing would be poultry. Yes, if you've got poultry, that is chicken, hens, pheasant, eggs, quail, native bird from the area that would be a great bird, ducks, anything that is native that I can domesticate and train as not only a key part and aspect of the sustainability aspect of this project, but as a food source in the sustainability of the human aspect, that would be great. And we want to check out things other than just the traditional poultry again. Guys out on the reservation, hunting. I know that I'm a hunter, traditional bow hunter, so I should know some pretty good ones like turkey. If you want to donate a live turkey, heck yeah, we'll name that Tom Mott, and we'll get them working out there, and lots of use for turkey. But I also like to explore native options. What do we have out here in Central Oregon that would make a great production poultry that's not being looked at or utilized? And or what birds can we breed and maintain in a healthy environment and sustainability? This COVID-19, a lot of people are starting to keep poultry at their home, next to their homes. That was what caused the whole bird flu thing in China. We don't want a third world situation here, but what the ideal thing would be is to take something like what I've got here, and I took this from an example of some of the really old school I guess you'd call them farms and homesteads. But there's a little port here. You can see it down there, right there. That comes from the outside to the inside of the pantry. Now, a really cool thing would be to have a chicken hutch with an egg laying area, much like a simple Rube Goldberg machine, where when those chickens lay, they lay in a spot. And I've seen this done before with the egg rollers and fresh keepers, Where in the laying nest, there's simply a hole for that egg to fall through, and then it just rolls right through into the pantry. And that would be a system that I know I can develop. I've seen it done, and it just needs to be done. I just need the poultry and get started on that, and probably a little bit of help from somebody setting it up. Um, it's a little bit physical and physically demanding. So those kind of things I of course need help with. So we got all that out of the way. So now that I've spent an hour on film, I will go ahead and finally get to the sponsors. If you are interested in being a sponsor, I was wholeheartedly against sponsorship when taking up this project just because I wanted to maintain a level of integrity that we weren't taking anything in on a biased level. I wasn't plugging anything. Now I've got a great sense of where this project sits in the status quo as far as technology that's available, being utilized, and the general public's knowledge and access to a lot of these things. If you want to sponsor us, go ahead. Give me something, a message, anything, and I will look at it. I'll look at it quite considerably, and make sure that we aren't going to go beyond our core values in sponsoring your product. But I know that people out there that are reposting on a lot of our stuff are already getting sponsorship with companies that I wouldn't consider sustainable. So at that point, if people are reposting our content and getting sponsorship from those that aren't necessarily sustainable, I would like to hear who wants to sponsor this Project Eva and hear some of the input and output that people get from their products. If you have a product that fits in, let us know. If you want to send us a pizza and you want me to sponsor Pizza Hut, at this point, I've noticed people taking content of ours and getting sponsorships like that. And if you have a way to make sustainable Pizza Hut, if you can send somebody over to help me mash some grain and flour and make some pizza dough, and then we can slaughter a chicken and make some chicken, and then milk a cow and make some butter and cheese and make a pizza, I would love that. Let's show the world how a pizza is made from scratch. That can be your sponsorship pizza, guys, because who doesn't like a pizza? And if you can build your own pizza from the ground up, and Pizza Hut can show you how, but they can also deliver it in half an hour, or Domino's, whoever. You want a sponsorship? Actually, you know what? Screw those guys. If you're a local sponsor and you make pizza, let's make real pizza. Let's show the world how pizza's made. Because, I don't know, those other guys that I just mentioned, they probably aren't making it out of real stuff. If you are, hey, Pizza Hut, Domino's, prove it. If you're one of the small time pizza galleries out here, or just a food producer, and you want to send us food and you want a sponsorship, as long as you're willing to show us a way to make that food from scratch using the ground and the earth, let's do it. I'm all about it. If you can send us product and keep us fed in the interim, as long as we can show people how to fish and not just keep fishing. That's the point. That's how I feel about sponsorship. That being said, hey, sponsor this farm, Project Eva. I will let people know what you can do, And the next video, I will give a big shout out and thank you to all those that deserve it.